Hello. How is everyone doing on this motivated Monday? Hopefully, it has been a motivated Monday for you all that you've been, getting yourself prepped and ready for the week. It is the first Monday in the month of August, which is actually one of my favorite months. If you're into numerology, the number eight, which is the eighth month, August is the eighth month. The number eight represents new beginnings, and I am truly looking for my new beginning throughout this month. And I truly hope that you are as well, because man, there's always some good things that happen for me in the month of August, and I've actually got a lot that is going on throughout this month, so I'm really excited to see how things play out. But before we get into this week's Community Appreciation Credit recipient, I do want to do a quick story time on today. Hopefully it'll be quick. And if you don't want to hear it, then you can go ahead and just skip on to when we do the Community Appreciation Credit reveal. I'll try to timestamp that so that you're able to just go directly to that. But I do want to do this and give this quick story time because I truly believe that it will be beneficial and help somebody. And from my point of view, as long as I'm able to help just one person, then I believe that it is all worth it, because people, you just never know what people might be going through. So, as we get into this, I know that last month our focus was on mindset and developing a growth mindset. So this story time is going to kind of sort of correlate with that, and it's going to be about how I got into this space that I'm currently in this speaking space. And my intention behind doing this is to allow for us to see kind of sort of my challenges when it has come with developing that growth mindset, as well as just be able to get the understanding of how it is about more than just developing a growth mindset. It is also about that self-reflection, which I always talk about is very much so key, because through the self-reflection, that is how we are able to really know what path it is that we should be on. Because many times, we see people doing things and we're like, oh my gosh, that looks cool. I want to do that too. But is that truly what it is that you should be doing? And, by all means, I understand that sometimes, we see things, and that is most of the time, that's how we end up finding something that we like to do because we saw someone else doing it. Prime example, I love to skate, and I started wanting to know how to skate because I saw other people skating, and I was like, oh my gosh, that looks cool. I want to be able to skate like that. So, you know what? I'm going to do it too. And there's no problem with that, but there's also a difference between truly being in alignment. And so through this story, it's going to really be able to give you a little bit of insight, a little bit of transparency. This is going to be a very transparent moment for me. But hopefully someone will be able to get something out of it. And, I'm not able to say everything that happened because it was just so much, but hopefully, like I say, it'll be able to help someone else, because that's what it's all about. It's about inspiring other people, and that's what I'm here for. So this all started back, and how did I get into this space? And how did it come with developing a growth mindset? It took a growth mindset to do what I'm doing here now, because like I always say, never saw myself doing something like this. But it was in the year of 2023. That was a huge year for me. And I actually was just going about my merry way, but I began to really just pay attention to what was going on around me. And I kept hearing that it's time for you to focus on yourself. You're always doing for this person, doing for that person, doing this, doing that. But what are you really doing for yourself? And that might be a message for someone right here and now. What are you really doing for yourself? You're taking care of the kids. You're being that wife. You're doing all the stuff, going to work all day. But what are you really doing for yourself? And that is what I was hearing in my life. So I paid attention to that and I took heed to it. So I started just getting in that secret place, in that quiet place, and thinking about it, like, what is it that I really want to do? And like I say, sometimes people inspire us, and that's why I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing. It doesn't matter. I'm going to continue doing it as long as I believe that I am being led and guided to go down this path, because you never know. Many times people inspire people and they will never say a word. And in my case, when I was thinking about, okay, what is it that I want to do? It was an industry that I used to be in, and I really loved that industry, but I just had gotten away from it, lives. But it was actually a family member of mine who was doing that same thing. And I was like, oh my gosh, she looks so beautiful doing it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I want to get back into that. So that is in my mind, okay, this is what I believe that which life will show you. Yeah, you thought. But that's what I thought that I wanted to do. So I began to I told myself that, and then I just began to go with the flow of life and see what happens. And next thing you know, these ads kept popping up on my videos. That I'm a YouTube girly. I love the University of YouTube. So I get on YouTube, and it was this particular ad from this company that kept popping up, and it was in that industry that I felt like I wanted to be in and I wanted to get back into. And so I was like, okay, I see you, but am I actually going to make the move? Because I knew with making that move, it was going to take a growth mindset. I was going to have to take on some challenges. This is like a whole new, even though I had prior experience in it, this particular route was like a lot more in depth. And we're talking about like millions and millions of dollars going on here. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to sign up for it. So one day I was like, all right, I'm going to click the ad and I'm going to sign up for it. So back up. What did I start doing? Once I heard that it's time for you to start focusing on you, what I started doing was investing in myself. Many times people want to go on trips and they want to have fun. They want to go on vacation. Yeah, let's have fun. But for me, what I started doing is I started going to different seminars. I started going to booking me trips and going by myself. I like to travel by myself because, when you have someone with you, you're not really able to be in tune. And as we go throughout this story, you're going to see why it was so important for me to be by myself, because I was able to really get the clarity on what life was trying to show me. But I started investing in myself by, going to different seminars, different workshops, whether it be virtually or in person, and just gaining the knowledge in that particular industry that I felt like I wanted to be in. So that was what that ad was about. I clicked on that ad, and I signed up to go to a seminar that was actually, it was out in Atlanta. And in this time span, within about 2 months, I ended up going back and forth to Atlanta about 3 to 4 times, just going to different workshops and seminars. And so I clicked on the ad, went through everything, and then next thing you know, right after that ad, there was another ad. And my antennas were already up because I went to, the ad for the particular industry that I thought I wanted to be in. And as I went to the next ad, I saw this beautiful lady pop up, and I was like, oh my gosh, who is this? And so that caught my attention as well. And it was something about, I believe it was like Live Your Calling. It was like a workshop about it was Live Your Calling workshop. And that's, that was like a big thing for me too, because I was like, oh my gosh, live your calling. That sounds intriguing. I want to live my calling. And so as I began to listen to her, a lot of times we hit skip, man, let me get to what I'm trying to watch. But I began to listen to her, and it was like she was speaking directly to me, like her experience, what she had done in her career. And I say this a lot. I was like, she reminds me so much of my mom. And, my parents are pastors, and it's like they have all these spiritual kids. And I was like, man, I want a spiritual mom. Like, I want someone outside of my mom that I can look up to. And so it was just so many things that I was like, oh my gosh. And so I ended up going ahead and clicking the button and signing up for this Live Your Calling workshop. And so I go to the workshop, And of course, it was a couple of weeks out or whatever the case may be. But I ended up attending the workshop. And I don't know if she typically does this. I would imagine that she doesn't, because this is someone, and you might be able to connect the dots, but within 3 years, and she had been in the industry for a while, but she built her company to $28 million in a span of 3 years. She was able to do that. And it wasn't even about that to me, because she's talking about speaking. Like, I don't know nothing about speaking. I don't want to do that. I never thought about that. That's not my calling. I know you're talking about living your calling, but that's not mine. So I was just set on that. But I ended up going to the workshop, and I was like, you know what? I feel like there's meaning behind this. And so I go to the workshop, and she has a thing that she's doing to where she's having an in-person event in Atlanta, of course, and she's giving away free tickets. And I ended up getting a free ticket to this in-person event. Now, mind you, I already have scheduled, or at this time I might have already, I literally was at her workshop while I was in Atlanta for the first seminar in the industry that I thought I wanted to be in. I was literally in Atlanta at the hotel, and I was attending her workshop, and then that's when I got the free tickets. And I was like, wow, I'm here in Atlanta, and now she's having a workshop, an in-person thing. Like, I gotta go to this. Like, I know it's going to be some expenses associated with it, but I want to do this. Because at this time, full transparent moment, when I went to, by the time it was time for me to go to the second workshop, so I went to the first workshop, and then by the time it was time for me to go to the next two workshops that I went to, within that time span, I was no longer employed. Some things had transpired in my life, and I was just in this full unknown place. Like, I didn't know what was going to happen next. Like, here it is. I booked all these seminars and stuff, and now I don't even know. Like, I've always had, a couple streams of income, but one of my main sources of income is no longer here. So, like, what am I going to do? But I just trusted. And a lot of times we fear the unknown. When we get into that unknown place, that's where we really have a lot of fear, because it's like we don't know what's going to happen next. But truly, the unknown is the best place to be, because that is where you can truly create. And that is something that I have learned. But at the time, I was just like, oh my gosh, I don't know what's happening, but I'm going to do this. So I end up going to the first seminar, and that's why I say, when you're in alignment, things work out perfectly, and you'll be able to see the signs. But you have to be in a place to where you are by yourself or in tune with yourself, to be able to know and see, okay, this is what life is showing me. Or it'll fly over your heads, like my dad likes to say, it'll fly over your heads like the Blue Angels. If you know, you know. So I ended up going to that first seminar. And when I say about being in alignment, the first seminar for what I thought I wanted to be doing, it was literally the same date for another event that I had to be in Atlanta anyway. So it wasn't out of my path. I was going to be there anyway. So everything, like, if some say, like, the stars aligned, everything was just perfectly aligning for me. So I went to that, and it was good. I was like, wow. But then again, like I say, it was daunting, because it involved several different components, and we're talking about like a lot of money, lots of, like, just a lot of stuff here. And I was like, I don't know if I'm prepared for this. And so I ended up going through with it, and I went to a part 2 to that seminar. And by the time I go to the part 2, now I'm unemployed. It's like, so I really don't feel like I have the confidence to be able to do things. Like, I'm trying to figure out my life right now. And so did that. It went good, but I was like, okay, I have this workshop, and then the in-person workshop that the lady was having for the Live Your Calling. Now, it wasn't that in-person event she was having wasn't called Live Your Calling, but for the purposes of this story, we're going to call it the Live Your Calling. So she was having the Live Your Calling workshop that next week. So I had the first seminar, and then several weeks later, I had the second seminar for the industry I thought that I wanted to be in. And then that next week was the Live Your Calling seminar. So that I go through the second part of the industry that I thought I wanted to be in. I would go through that workshop. And so at the end of that, I'm like, and so much happened throughout that event. I can't talk about it all, but it's just like, because I'm by myself, so I'm able to see everything. I'm like, oh my gosh, this happened, this happened, this happened, this happened. The conversations, like, it was just so much, and I really could have went down that path, but it was me getting in the way of myself. But everything ended up happening the way it was supposed to, and I fully trust that. So the second workshop comes, the Live Your Calling workshop, with this beautiful, phenomenal woman, and I'm just like, okay. So so I get out there, and the first night she's having a meet and greet. And so I go to the meet and greet. Now, mind you, I've been back and forth to Atlanta a couple times at this point, and then I've traveled for work, so I've been all around, traveling. I'm used to the roadways, been on the roadways, no problems. But for some, and I don't want to say for some reason, I know why it happened, but she had the meet and greet, and everyone's, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, and me, I'm over there off to the side sipping my coffee, like, okay, like, because I've just never been that type of person that's like, they're still just people, like, no disrespect, but they're just people. But they were like ratting and waving, and I know she probably was like, who is that over, because I'm the only one that's sitting over there to the side sipping my coffee, and I know she probably was like, who in the world is that over there, who is that? But anyway, so all went well, and it was so crazy. I'd be paying attention to the color coordinations, what color people are wearing. Like, it was just interesting, to say the least. So I go, and I'm leaving this meet and greet, and it's night, it's dark outside, and I'm on my way back to my hotel, and next thing you know, all I see is these headlights coming at me. So I guess somehow I ended up going down. I ended up going towards oncoming traffic. I went down the wrong road. I don't know how it happened. Never had this happen to me before, but all I'm seeing is these headlights coming at me. And I'm just like in this shock, like, oh my gosh. And I literally felt my car shift. Like it was like a supernatural moment for me. Like, I felt my car shift. I don't know what happened, but the next thing you know, I was out of there. But I heard a noise, and I just knew for certain. I was like, oh my gosh, I know I messed up my car. I know one of these cars hit me. Here it is, this oncoming traffic coming at me. Like, and all I'm thinking about is, like, my life literally just flashed before my eyes. And it was really a scary moment, and nobody stopped. So I'm like, okay, well, I guess it wasn't as significant. Even if we did hit each other, it wasn't significant enough for somebody to stop. So I don't really know what all happened in that moment, but I know everybody ended up kept keeping on going, and I was so shaken up to where I was just holding my steering wheel, and I was like, oh my gosh, please don't let my car be messed up. Oh my gosh, please, I don't want my car to be messed up. Like, I was just like praying the whole time on my way back to the room. And so I get back to my hotel, and I get out the car, and I'm looking around my car. I did a spin around my car, and I don't see anything. I'm like, there's not a scratch, there's nothing. And so I go, and I go around again, because I'm like, no, can't be. Like, something had, like, I heard a noise, like, I something happened. But ultimately, there was not a scratch on my car. But it shook me up so much, because literally, like I say, my life flashed before my eyes. And so I had a lot of time when I got back into the room, because I was by myself. I was able to really like sit and think about, like, what happened. And for me, it was like, okay, what are you trying to show me through this? And so I immediately began to think, like, okay, here it is, live your calling. I go to a virtual event, and then she's giving these free tickets, which, I mean, those tickets are normally hundreds of dollars, of course. She's giving out free tickets to her in-person event. Okay, so I go to the in-person event, and before I can even get to the event, it's like someone, if you want to say the devil or whatever the case, a negative entity was trying to stop me before I could even get started. Here at the meet and greet, I literally almost lose my life. Like, it was just like, I was like, oh my gosh. And so as I began to go throughout the remainder of the seminar, I was able to gain the understanding as to why it happened. Because just how the event, it was so powerful. The things that she was even saying, just the occurrences of just being in the right place at the right time, to where like it was just a lot of things that happened, to where, and even some things that some things it was something she said in one of the days, and it made me get up and do some things, and I was like, what am I doing? But she gave her story and it inspired me. So that's why I say it's important to, a lot of times we are inspired by, people's stories, but at the same time, it also is about us making sure that we are actually on the right path that is meant for us. But anyway, through this, the seminar went well, but I was able to really sit down at the end. Like I said, so much happened. I wish I could tell it all, but I can't. But like my life is like that, like, because I really take the time to sit down and see, okay, why did this happen? Why did this happen? What is this trying to teach me? What is this trying to tell me? Am I supposed to go down this way? Because, there is no blueprint. Like, I always sit and I wish, I'm like, oh my gosh, I just wish that there was a voice in my head that would tell me literally every move to make. Because if there was, I would do it. I would be obedient. But nobody truly knows. We're all out there just trying to figure it out. And it can be daunting. It can be very, very challenging. But, I'm saying this to say that the remainder of the workshop happened, or the seminar, whatever you want to call it. And there were so many things that happened that was just like, wow, oh my gosh. And at the end of that, I was able to really get clarity, because it was like, okay, I have this route of where I feel like I want to be in this industry, but then I have all this stuff that has happened on this route. And so I believe that I was clearly shown that, okay, this is the route that I'm supposed to take. And so that's why I say the self-reflection matters, and getting in tune and paying attention to what life is showing. Because if I was not paying attention, I would have just kept going, doing what I want to do. I'm doing what I want to do. Now, I can look in my closets. I have from so many seminars and stuff that I went through, I have nothing but knowledge. But just because I have it doesn't mean that it's time for me to use it right here and now. So that's a piece of the puzzle. And when it's time to play that piece, I'll play that piece. And all the other stuff that I have in there too. Books, like all kind of stuff from investing in myself. That's the best. If you don't get anything else out of this, invest in yourself and let it guide you. Because, I started out thinking, doing what I thought I wanted to do, but then it led me here to this Live Your Calling workshop. And so now I'm doing what I'm doing now. But then, so that's why I say it took the self-reflection, but then it also took the growth mindset, because I'm hearing this lady. I said, I chose this path. This is what I'm going to go down. This is the path I'm going to go down right now. I feel like this is where my life is guiding me. Paid attention to it, took action. But then it also took me developing a growth mindset, because at this point, back in 2023, I didn't do social media at all. Like, I hadn't been on social media in years. I had like my Facebook page that I have now, that I have like under 100 friends on there. Like, I don't add a lot of friends on there because that's my little closet. So if you're my friend on Facebook, then that's a big thing, because I don't let a lot of people in there, because that's like my little. And then the stuff that I share is just a small inklet, because I have so many things that I share on private. So when I scroll on my homepage, I get like all my little inspiration when I scroll on my profile, like on my individual profile, because I share a lot of things and I share it privately just to myself. But anyway, I don't even know where I was with that. But the point that I'm saying here is that it took for me to develop that growth mindset, because I did not have any friends on Facebook. Like, for a while, the page that I have now, that I have a very like my old page, I have 4,000 or 5,000 friends on there, almost to the max. But on this new page, like I have less than 100 friends. I don't really add people on there. And during this time when I went to that workshop, I had that Facebook page, but I had zero friends. And I would just get on there, like, get my little inspiration, things that whatever I was doing on there. But anyway, it really took me developing a growth mindset, because here it is. I'm listening to this lady and she's telling me to go live. She's telling me to start prepping and getting this stuff in line and do this. And she's giving me this blueprint. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like it really took me taking on a lot of challenges and doing some things that I never thought that I would do. But look at me now. Like, I'm continuously growing and progressing. And I'm saying that to encourage you all on your path. And that doesn't mean you go do what I did as far as the same exact thing. Like, that doesn't mean you go and start speaking. Maybe that's what you should be doing, But for me, like I said, I never saw myself doing it. But then I look back over my life at all the things that I have been through. Like, when I say I have so many stories to tell, that's literally like a movie, literally. Like, which I think everybody probably feels that way about their life. I don't know, but I don't know, but all the stories and stuff, that things that have transpired in my life, it was like, at the time, I would literally sit there, especially when I was going through a lot of domestic situations. I remember I would sit there and I would because I'm a thinker, so I would sit there and I would think sometimes for hours, like, okay, what did I do for all of this to happen? Like, what? Because I take accountability if I did something wrong. So I'm like, okay, what did I do? And I would just sit there and cry sometimes. It's like, I don't know what I did. Like, I don't know. And so a lot of things that I went through, I didn't have the understanding as to why I went through it. But it's like, now I can look back and say, I went through those things for a reason. And so I truly believe that I've been called to this space to be able to impact people, and even if it's just an encouraging word, but because it's like, you did not go through all that you went through for you to sit silent, because that's what I want to do. That's what I want to do. I want to be on an island by myself, minding my business. Like, I love being by myself. I can be by myself 24/7 and have no problems with it. And I never get bored. Like, that's the crazy thing. But anyway, so I'm saying this to say that through this story, I done kind of went into a whole nother story, but through this story, what my intention has been, and hopefully you've been able to receive something from it, and that is to, first of all, do some self-reflection, see what it is that you should be doing for yourself. Start investing in yourself. Start doing some things for you. And then know that with that is going to come developing a growth mindset, because you're going to have some challenges. You're going to have some things that you're going to go through. But it's going to make, oh Lord, people are commenting and I haven't been paying no attention to it. I'm so sorry. But things are going to happen, and you're not always going to know which way to go. But sorry, I lost my whole train of thought with that. I forgot I have these comments here. I don't be paying attention. But anyway, that's the goal here, is to really just figure out, do the self-reflection, and start finding what it is that you believe that you should be doing, because that's a starting point. And then through that, you'll be guided to where you should be at if you pay attention. But anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. That's my sign to go ahead and get into this week's community appreciation credit. I'm like, go ahead and I'm going to timestamp it for you all, so that if y'all don't want to hear all that rumble jumble, but I hope somebody was able to get something out of it. So let's go ahead and get into this week's community appreciation credit. Let's see. All right. I guess I'm going to keep myself on the snow, because I want y'all to be able to see everything. I'm learning. I'm getting it. All right. So on this week, what I have done is, excuse me. What I have done is I have put on this wheel right here everyone who interacted with our weekly spotlight post. I decided to do that this week because that's truly what it's supposed to be about. It's supposed to be, which each week I'll do whatever I feel like I want to do. But this week I decided to go with those who have interacted with the weekly spotlight post for last week, which was the Fun Fact Friday, talking about our growth mindset. And what I've done is, so that it can be fair, if you liked the post, you have been entered onto this wheel. And then if you shared it, you've been entered for a second. You have two entries, because I want to incentivize people who go the extra miles, who really light up our community here, and others as well. So here it is, right here and now. I think I'm going to stop talking and just let it do what it does. So if you see your name on here, if I forgot you, if you shared the post, if you did something, if your name should be on here 2 times, 3 times, then let me know. And I don't know, maybe I'll add you in an additional time for next week. So let's get into it. I got my amounts over here. We're going to see what we do. I think I'm going to spend all. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna do it at the same time so we kind of get a. Who is it? Oh my goodness. All right, we've got LJ Goodens who has won this week. You are our community appreciation credit recipient. You're this week's light lighter. Who better could it be? Unfortunately, you're only getting $10 today, but that's $10 that you can. I mean, you can't even get a foot long with that these days, but something is most definitely better than nothing. So let's go ahead and congratulate LJ Goodens for being this week's Community Appreciation Credit recipient. And make sure that, why am I not back on the screen? I'm sorry, y'all. I'm trying to get myself together here. All right. So make sure that you look out, because you are going to be receiving a message from us so that you can go ahead and receive that cash that you can use on whatever you please. Now, what better deal is that? All you have to do is just light up the community with us and you literally get free cash. I mean, who does that? Where they do that at? Here at Inspire with Indy. All right, you all. Let me see some of these comments. Yay! Yes, you all are so amazing. Y'all are amazing. I'm truly blessed, and I'm appreciative to all of you all. Like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm here doing what I'm like. Literally, there's several times throughout the week where I'm just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm doing this. Am I really doing this? Like, oh my gosh, no way. Why am I doing this? I don't want to do this. Like, it's like that's how you know that like, because many times people want stuff so bad, like they want this, they want that, but like I literally don't want this. Like, please take it away from me. But here it is. We're here. I'm doing it, and I'm gonna keep on doing it until life tells me otherwise. And best believe, if life tells me tomorrow don't do this no more, I will be gone. I will be ghostly, and you won't see my face anymore. You won't see nothing with Inspire with Indy. um, but you will most definitely see Pain for Purpose, because that is the goal. Everything else is just leading up, and yeah, we're not going to get into all that. I hope that each and every one of you all have an absolutely amazing rest of your night, that you are just smiling, that you are taking care of yourself, being good to you, being good to all of those around you, and pay attention. Stay tuned for our topic and focus for this month, because it's going to be a good one in this new beginning month of August. What we're going to be doing throughout this month is something that is really going to help us have even more of a new beginning, because you can't go wrong by doing what we're going to be doing throughout this month. So you all take care. Y'all have a good rest of you all's night. And I can't wait. I can't believe I'm saying I can't wait. But I can't wait to see you all on next week. Take care. Have a good night.